Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading room. Bear with me here for just a moment. We'll get the screen share going here. And the friendly reminder that trading is risky. You should never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Always good advice. I was just taking a look here at the daily chart before the market opened. Some reasonably strong sessions earlier, and now the market seems to be fading again momentum wise, and that would be because we are getting very, very close to the contract highs that turned the market around before. So the contract highs coming in somewhere around 7,800. We're currently trading near 7,700, or we're trading near 7,700. And you can see volume also fading a little bit. So you see how we're getting some fairly small bars, but relatively high volume, and volume is a relative measure. This leads me to believe that maybe we're going to see another pullback. May not be a huge one, it might not be like this pullback here. But I think if we shoot a trend line across here somewhere, certainly a move back to 74, maybe even 7,300 seems likely. All right, so there's the overview from the daily chart. Helpful information. A little bit of a soft start here for a Monday. Here the Eagle, a little bit of a decline through the overnight, relatively sideways. The Bollinger Band Suite also a little bit congested here. We're trading right inside. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a bearish break. For those of you who like your early signals, this is one that you may choose to capitalize on because it is Monday. We do or can anticipate a little bit of momentum. There was a trend change signal here on the Falcon. I was hoping for a second push, but it doesn't look like we are going to get it as the market just keeps heading lower. The problem with these types of trades is, where do you get in? Once the market takes off on you like this, yeah, see, darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Here now the pullback, I could throw an order to short below there. Remember, your orders are live when you put them on your chart, so you'll want to get them out of the way. You could use this reactionary bar as a second push opportunity. What time is it? Yeah, see, we're only 4 or 5 minutes in. But there might be enough in here. There's certainly enough from that signal, that first signal, to reach our profit objective. This a bit of a risky play here, but let's see. All right, well, here we go. Just your basic trend line touch signal now in the Falcon. Let's see if we get any follow through on this. 75.70. I do believe that is where the market gapped on Friday. So we're kind of inside that trading gap. Oop, I need to bring my stops in a little bit back to their or near their original placement. No, not looking all that promising here at the moment. Come on. You got to give me a bar here to close below this 75.75 zone. That should encourage a few more sellers to show up. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to roll my stops a little bit now, take some of that added risk out of the trade. If this bar closes on the low, I will take it to break even. Oh, come on. You know what? I'm not liking the hesitation, so there we go. Okay. It did end up closing on the low, so I am taking the bar to break, or the trade to break even. In fact, I will trail above this bar with this little bit of a wick to it. Yay, hit the profit target. Hooray for us. I was a little hesitant. The first signal was the stronger signal. It seems to be that way, that the first signals always tend to be the stronger signals. Second signal should be all right. The third signal, sometimes you start to wonder, how much does this market have left? It's not that it won't necessarily continue higher or lower, but rather that we may be prone to a pullback before the next move. And that's kind of what we're looking at now. A little bit of a pullback. All right, well, a decent continuation lower there. Was an opportunity to get on board again, but like I said, I'm a little bit hesitant, wondering how much the market has left. But it looks like that number 3 signal here on the Falcon, that first micro macro cross that coincided with that, both working out. You know, I mention it all the time, and it is worth remembering that trading is not about, or profitable trading is not about trading more often, rather trading more size. That's going to make the biggest difference in your trading success. All right, so it looks like I could have hopped on board there. We did get a little bit of a second push opportunity, or simply we could have just entered below that other swing low. It does appear as though today is, well, it's teeing up to be more of a bearish day right now. All right, a little bit of a pullback. We may get a number 2 signal here on the Raptor. All right, we may have a quick little bottom forming here, and we'll see if this support zone holds. All right, here now the number 2 signal. Hold on here, we're going to get this going, and then I will explain it. Okay, so I got a little bit of a second push opportunity building here. So the number 2 signal, you can see we've got the background highlight here. It did not print exactly as a number 2 signal because I guess it may have been just a little bit long developing, but that is what we do have going on here, is a number 2 signal. It's a counter trend signal. It occurs within a trend or after a trend. Obviously, with a counter trend signal, you first have to have something that looks like a trend. And then you have that telltale test of the extreme. In this case, the extreme is the low, and then your signal to reverse and go the other direction. Because it is counter trend, a lot of times it is nice to have that second push opportunity before you get into the trade, just to show that the market has a little extra momentum behind it. Okay, so let's bring our stops back, and I will take profit on target here. I'm not going to try to get too cute with the trade. Same thing, as we get about 75–80% of the way toward the profit objective, I will bring my stops up to break even, or perhaps if the market looks like it's floundering, I may bring my stops up to this bar right here with this bit of a tail to it. Come on, get up there. Oh, come on. I would love to. There we go. I was going to say, once that bar finishes bullish, I will bring my stops up to break even, but no need to worry about that, as it did a little giddy up and got all the way to the profit target. Profit target for those reversal trades, we tend to look toward the hard edge of the trading band. All right. Well, once again, if I was doing my trading quota, my trading day is done. I know it does not seem like a lot, but we've had 2 trades. First one, we had a little positive slippage on it, so that'll cover my commissions and fees. Both trades are profitable, so we're up $200 per contract. And, to make more money, I don't need to find more trades. Rather, I need to capitalize on those positions correctly. So if my account allowed me to trade 3 contracts, well, that would be a $600 day. 5 contracts, I would have a $1,000 day. 10 contracts, I'd have a $2,000 day, and so on it goes. That is the true secret to successful trading. Hey, way to go, Ron, making a profitable trade here this morning. Nicely done. kind of building a little bit of a sideways trading range now, or so it seems. You can see we're starting to bounce back and forth a little bit. Time will tell whether this will actually become the sideways range. Getting a bit of a trend change signal here in the Falcon. The Falcon's one of the earlier ones here to show us a possible short. Oh, and here now the Raptor coming alongside the Falcon with the #1 signal to sell. Oh. And I'll use this current bar as a second push opportunity. Oh, it hasn't traded below the lows yet. No, not quite ready yet. All right, we'll leave that alone for the moment then. Now we're getting that #2 signal. It's hard to tell at this point whether that #2 signal is actually going to be with trend or counter trend. But you can see we're still kind of in the sideways range. Oh, there we go. We're getting a little bit more bullish now. Actually, a rule of 3 here on the eagle. And let me set that up and then I will show you. All right, so I'll use the current bar as a second push bar. Now the rule of 3 is the eagle's counter trend signal. And here I'll also get my stop loss out of the way. Okay. As with all counter trend signals, you have to have a trend preceding it. So we've got a downtrend. We've got to move back here to the hard edge. But what is starting to happen is we are starting to produce buy signals in a downtrend. Typically, with the rule of 3, we get 3 counter trend signals before the market tries to reverse and go the other direction. A rule of 3, however, is established as soon as we get the test of the extreme, the retest of the low, and the second counter trend signal. So we have all the elements of a rule of 3 here. Normally the test of the extreme occurs between the second and third signal. But in this case, it's occurring between the first and the second. Okay, there we go. We're filled. Let's challenging now the top end of this trading range. We'll see if we get any follow through on that. Come on. They're trying. Counter trend trades always tricky, always difficult because of course you're dealing with the trend. You're trading counter to the trend, which is not always or is usually not advisable. I think I've shared with you in the past how by journaling my trades, and I highly recommend you journal your trades, I have come to learn that the vast majority of my losing trades are counter trend positions. So simply avoiding counter trend trades altogether should make you more profitable at the end of the day. All right, I'm not going to give this trade too much wiggle room. I'm going to go below this bar right here with this tail to it. I'm going to try to minimize my risk exposure. Maybe I'll give it a couple more ticks, but not much more. Not looking very good right now. See, now we're getting the green bar sell, the with trend signal. And that's probably the thing I dislike about counter trend trades more than anything, is that they tend to block you from the with trend signal, which should be more profitable. Maybe my stops were too tight. Would not be the first time. I got tagged because my stops were a little too cozy. Ah, look at that. Doggone it. I did get tagged because my stops were too tight. Ooh, I hate that. Well, now we definitely have the rule of three signal complete. You see 1, 2, 3 counter trend signals, a double test of the extreme. You could just throw an order to buy in above here, or you can use your trade calculator, of course. Now, I'm going to use this as my entry point, even though the signal is right here. You know what? There we go. Let's throw it in on the signal. Initial stops, I will pull out of the way. It's definitely a more aggressive posture on this particular trade. The better entry, I believe, is still above here. It just shows you, that the market will have the momentum necessary to take out the recent highs by entering above this swing high, because the market did turn twice at that point. All right, here we go. The rule of three. I'll bring my stops back to where they were originally. Okay, and now we'll see whether we have enough to get over this hurdle right here. That's the big line in the sand for this trade. If we get above there, my earlier entry should pay off nicely. Come on. Get up there. Oh, look at that. 3 times they're trying to bounce off of these highs. Okay, getting a little bit of follow through. Come on, you can do it. Now that the trade is moving in my favor, I don't want to strangle it by bringing my stops up too quickly. Okay, I can probably roll my stops here in line with the ATR. Oh, this now the retest after the breakout, and you need to anticipate that. Come on, one more bullish bar, and I think we'll be off and running. Oh, you guys are killing me here. All right, we'll bring the trade up to break even and keep my fingers crossed that they don't look too far back. This is one advantage of getting the earlier entry, is that very often it does allow you to manipulate your stops. Okay, I got tagged at break even. We'll see what happens from here. Now that we have the breakout, I would like to see two bearish bars, and then I could throw a buy order above here. Oh, maybe they're only going to give me the one. Scoundrels. Oh, look at that. Oh, I really, really, really dislike you right now. Well, I hate getting tagged at break even and then watching the market going on without me. Very frustrating. All right, well, maybe not. Maybe they're still a little conflicted here. Oh, I saw a warning. There we go. We got the triangle, the warning dot and triangle. They're all kind of building on this same bar here in the Eagle, so the programming is just defaulting to the triangle. But we definitely have a bit of a conflicted market here. The Raptor has turned bullish. As has the Falcon and the Hawk. But still, we haven't really gotten outside or well outside of this trading range. Again, what I would like to see, if I could get a couple of bearish bars, I would know for certain where the sellers are pushing back. You see, this is what I'm trying to avoid. One bear bar on a breakout is not enough because the market can still head higher and then reverse and stop me out. But if I have two bear bars in my favor and I'm looking to buy, I have a pretty good idea where I can place my entry to avoid being brought into a market that is not really ready to reverse. Oh, nuts to me. It looks like I did get tagged out here too early on that rule of three signal. Well, now that we've had the breakout, we should get a second chance. We should get a second chance. Well, again, we have the one bear bar. I don't want to commit on just the one bear bar. The reason is if this breakout is not going to hold, if this breakout that we're experiencing right now does not hold, well, obviously the market will reverse and resume the previous downtrend. And that is a definite possibility as well. In fact, if that occurs, we should produce a number 2 signal here to short on the Raptor. The Raptor will be one of the first tools to produce a counter trend signal. And well, not yet, not enough to get too excited about. Everything is looking very, very neutral. Just looking here at the Raptor with the Bollinger Suite, we're getting what's referred to as a Bollinger Squeeze. And this usually precedes a bit of a breakout move. Don't always know which way the market's going to break, but it does precede a breakout or tend to precede a breakout. They're trickling higher, trickling being the operative word. All right, well, here we go again. Another retest or attempted retest. So I am open to the possibility of a number 2 signal here in the Raptor, a counter trend, a possible counter trend move, or with trend, if you want to consider the move from this morning. Okay, so you can see at this point we have the 2 counter trend bars I'll show you here on the Raptor. We're going to enter above here. We're going to short below here because this now is the counter trend signal, the number 2 signal. We essentially have this market in a bit of a bind. I'm going to use the trade calculator here to enter the position, but you could just right click and enter your orders as well. Anything resembling momentum has left the market. We are right in the middle of this teeny tiny little trading range. We're about an hour in. Very often this is when the market shakes up a little bit. Or not. Okay. So I will bring up my stop loss order here. So we've got a second push on this particular signal right here. We've got a second push on this number 2 signal. This signal here to buy is the same signal as we would be looking to buy above here on the Eagle. Right, so we have the 2 counter trend bars. We've seen the breakout. We're getting the retest of the breakout. The market will either continue higher from here or it will fail and continue lower. And that's the logic behind the trade. I will manage it here from the Raptor. And I'll probably try to take it a little bit deep if it fills on the short side. Maybe take it back down toward these lows, which are very close toward the secondary support zone. All right, so we're short. I'm going to cancel my profit order on the buy side. And we'll see if we can't get any follow through here. Come on. There we go. Okay, we're getting a follow-up number 2 signal now. Oops. Maybe not. Maybe not yet. Ah, they're going to tag me now on the reverse. Darn it. Well, there you go. The evils of counter trend trading. Although you could make a case that the number 2 signal was actually with trend, given the larger opening move lower. Also goes to show you how going back to the well too many times is not a good plan. That's why I like to cap my trades at 1 or 2 a day. Like Ron says, one trade is his daily goal. Okay, now it looks like they're getting a little bit of momentum. So what happened here, as you can see, we had the breakout. I got in a little bit too early on the retest. Even for the retest, I should have waited for 2 bull bars. That would have allowed me to have my buy order here, and I would have eventually put my sell order here. Right? Let's pretend this is unfolding real time. So we've identified a sideways trading range. The best way to trade a trading range is to allow it to break out, retest, and then look for evidence that the trend or the breakout will continue. Likewise to the short side, we look for the breakout, the retest, and evidence that the market will continue in the direction of the breakout. Once we have a confirmed breakout and retest, what that allows us to do is it allows us to place our buy and sell orders. So a buy order would go above here, a sell order would go below here. I think this is usually easiest to see on the Eagle, given the brick size. You can do this on the Raptor as well, but you may want to increase the brick size slightly, or even run a 12 tick, a 12 by 12 Raptor, just so you can see what's going on. So I got a little bit impatient, but I was patient enough for the buy signal. I did wait for my 2 bear bars to form. That gave me the cue that this is where my buy signal should go. I got a little bit impatient on the sell signal, and I used this little retest as my place to short. So I actually put my sell signal right there. But you can see, had I been a little bit more patient and waited for the 2 bull bars to form, I would have avoided a losing trade. And I would have been in better position to actually have this market now in a bind. So if it continues higher, fine. There's evidence that if it continues lower, they're going to need to violate reasonably strong support as well. But as it turns out, they ended up going higher. Oh, see, Ray's using the level 2 that we explored on Friday. He says the level 2 showed a lot of buying just before that number 3 signal turned on, and I did not take the trade. Well, you want to see buying, or I see, he said just before the number 3 signal. So at that time, we would have had a little bit more of a seller's bias. But yeah, you're right. If you see a lot of buying and then all of a sudden you get a number 3 signal, it does make it a little bit easier to go long. Okay, well, after that breakout, once again, we need ideally a little bit of a pullback. It does seem as though the market has, dare I say, turned more bullish at this point. All right, now a little bit of a pullback in progress. Back here to the macro line on the hawk. We keep flip-flopping around here. It's making it a lot more difficult to judge the true market direction. Okay, pull back to the hard edge now. This is where we anticipate a bit of a reaction. Well, okay, I'm a little bit ahead of the curve. We're not quite to the hard edge yet. We're trading in slow motion. All right, the hawk here. Back to the macro line. The yellow bars spoil the buy signal. Makes me think maybe a move lower? Maybe? I don't know. Right now, the market is just so quiet and so neutral. I'm happy I got my two trades early on because right now, like I said, the way the market is just kind of aimlessly wandering makes it really much more of a challenge. Well, we'll hang with them for a little while longer, but if they don't pick up here soon, we may close the trading room a little bit early. It's funny though how Mondays have become relatively quiet overall. A little bit of a counter move building. A slow drift now to the hard edge. We'll see. No red bar buy there. That would have given me a level which I could short below. Overall, we're very quiet. Okay, into the hard edge. We'll see if we come back with some sort of bullish bounce. Oh, there we go. Things picking up here a little bit now. I was just curious whether this pullback came all the way back here, but it doesn't look like that one. That's the case. Rather, we have a little bit of a trend line developing here. I would entertain a sell signal if we get one here on the Falcon or the Raptor. With the Raptor, it would be a number 2 signal. With the Falcon, it would just be the trend change signal. The Hawk is a little conflicted at the moment. The Eagle is still bullish, but we are maybe witnessing a bit of a test or retest of the high, which is making me think that if it goes lower, we'll get the opportunity to short. But honestly, things are so quiet right now. I don't want to short too soon, though. I will consider a short, but I want the signal to produce somewhere around this swing low. I don't want to get in too early. I need to see it take out some of this support. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's the signal. Here's my entry just below that low. And I will get my exit order out of the way. So basic trend change signal here on the Falcon. For the sake of a couple of 3 ticks, I will use this bar as my signal bar and enter below there. I could try to extend my profit target to here. This is where the rally began. That's where the buyers are going to be. Or I could just take profit on target. And if they flinch from here, well, we'll just have to scrub the trade and call it a day. We're getting some bullishness coming back. You can see the Raptor giving us now that number 2 signal. That coincides with that Falcon trend change signal. And here now the number 3 signal, the with trend signal. I don't know, I'm not too keen to enter long just at this point. Tough decision, because this is the place ideally you want to enter, because you can see we'll almost be to our profit objective if I delay my entry up to here. All right, we are getting in a little bit of a bind, in that the market is going to need to make a decision from here to go either higher or lower. And maybe things favoring the sellers, certainly if we can get down below the 75.86 level. Not your ideal trade, but here you go, all the same. All right. Here's now my second push on the number 3. Off that hard edge bounce. The market just so neutral. Look at our Bollinger Suite here. We're just spending so much time within the bands. Not much in the way of follow through. We need President Trump to tweet something. That'll light up the market. All right, gang. Well, if they don't come around here shortly, we're just going to close up shop. If you are continuing to trade this afternoon, I don't know. You know, the market is so balanced. We had a nice rally up, or pardon, rally down to start the day, followed by a rally higher. And now we're just kind of in limbo. So it's a pretty even market. Ideally, I would like to see the market commit one way or the other. That would make it much easier once we have something resembling a trend. But again, it just kind of makes my point how you're better off having a trading quota. Look for your 1 or 2 or maybe 3 opportunities in the day. Don't press your luck, because sooner or later you may get anxious about a trade, or the market may just give you a false signal. And we really do want to avoid losing trades as much as possible. All right, on that note, we'll close up shop here for the morning. I'll try to nurse this trade to a break-even position if I can. And I will see you on Tuesday. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.